We are focusing on the Division 1, so combined grades 2-1, 3-2, and 4-3. We do have some breakout spaces created for 5-4 and 6-5, so you can have some time with your colleagues if other 5-4s or 6-5s show up. But since we're only supporting the implementation of the Division 1 new social studies curriculum, that's what our focus is today. If you didn't already do, can people still hear me? No, I don't know what's going on here. If you didn't already, please put your grade in the chat. And then, as Jen said, the combined grade form was sent out in the spring and then again in some of the messages. It's just for us to keep track of people who are interested or who plan. Actually, I guess you don't really have a choice if you're doing a combined grade or not, just so that we have a list of people who are doing the combined grades. Again, my name is Rebecca Grant, and I'm the new social studies consultant, and I'm focusing on the new curriculum. And then also Jen Perry is here, and she has been our wonderful elementary social studies consultant for a number of years. Danielle Gentili is actually with, in particular, the French immersion teachers. But if you do know any French immersion teachers, she's really focusing on supporting the implementation for any of the French immersion schools and teachers. Our land acknowledgement: the Creator gifted us with this land that we are blessed to share and care for together. The Calgary Catholic School District acknowledges that the land we gather on, Mohkinstsis, is the ancestral territory of the Siksika Sitapi, the Siksika, the Kainai, the Piikani, the Amska-Piikani. We acknowledge all First Nations and Métis of Treaty 7 lands, the Tsuut'ina and the Ethkapi, which includes Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Goodstoney. The Calgary Catholic School District commits to advancing reconciliation, guided by truths, respecting treaty laws, and humbly walking alongside First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. We recognize all who live, work, and play on these lands, who now call this place home.
Okay, please place yourself in the presence of the Lord, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Holy Spirit, source of all wisdom and giver of all holiness, continue to fill us with knowledge and truth as we seek to grow in our vocation. Grant us kind and gentle hearts, inquisitive minds, compassionate souls, hope-filled imagination, insight leading to action, hands that create a loving world, and faith in all we do. Animated and built up by your grace, may we use our gifts humbly and generously and bear faithful witness to God's love through Christ our Lord. Amen. Holy Redeemer, have mercy on us. We just moved to Holy Redeemer in the name of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
And of course, our board priorities have remained the same from last year. Our table of contents today, we want to spend most of our time in the breakout spaces to really dive into the curriculum and our plans for combined grades and give you time to network and build a community with other teachers teaching the same combines. But we will go over some general resources, our why, how we did it. So Jen and I, last week, was really the first day we got the resource. Last week was the first week we got the resources and got to look at things. We're going to talk about our process, navigating the curriculum overview, the combined grade long-range plans and scope and sequences of what we've worked on so far, additional resources that are available for you, and then we'll break out into grade groups and be a little bit more specific.
Okay, this was a resource that I created last year for a PG session. It's all hyperlinked. There's a little tour video, like a little video tour, and it's specifically for combined grades. I called it Choose Your Own Adventure. There is some documents. It's kind of just bookmark it. You can refer back to it when your brain is less full. But the APLC, the Alberta Professional Learning Consortium, has created some really great year plans. I especially love their combined grade math plans. It's in the first column, halfway down. That would be my vision for social studies too. There is some actual Calgary Catholic teachers that talk about their own combined grades. There's some actionable resources. A lot of talk is about creating community in combined grades. So there's some information about PATHS, which is a program based on that supports Pew as well. And then just some other resources that we've gathered along the way. So feel free to look through any of those and please share with fellow combined grade teachers that you might know.
And then in particular for science was implemented last year fully. And so the consultant and then the COPs worked a lot on combined grade long range plans in general, and then the startup units. So again, some of it's some of it's combined grades, and then some of it's just general science startup that you might want to take a look at as well.
There's a link also, I'm plugging this for Jolene. There's a link at the very bottom. If you're interested in collaborating on a combined grade science lesson unit, there is opportunity as well. So you might already have something on the go, and Jolene would love to hear from you.
Excellent. So when we start planning social, we always start with kind of our big whys and why we really love social, what we want to teach students about social, and how we want them to love social too. So I know for myself, I really love like democracy and current events. And so I'm really excited about, we have student vote coming up in October. And with the new curriculum, it goes all the way down to like kindergarten and grade 1. And so I'm excited about finding ways to adapt that to those age levels.
There was just a question about my last slide, so I'm multitasking. That last slide is not on EPD. I could maybe throw it up there somewhere, but it is definitely in this presentation. So I did link the presentation in the chat. Okay, my big why for social studies. I am a total social studies nerd, have been my whole entire life. I think about the social justice, thinking about our Catholicity and our faith in action, and how there's so much great opportunity to bring how we can promote our students to be active citizens in our world and make the world a better place. There is also book bundles coming your way. That is a really great way to unite your combined grade class through literature. And those have been ordered. We just got the bill for them, so they have been ordered, and we'll share a little bit more about those. But every grade has 25 to 30 books you can share amongst grades, and we chose books that are linked to the curriculum. Lots of great new books, many have just hot off the press just been published. So those are some of my great whys about how social studies lives everywhere.
And then I just want to draw attention to here, we have this, the social studies September starters, and those are some lessons and some ideas that we have. Okay, there you have it open, that are good for K all the way up to grade 6. You might have to do some adapting, pick and choose what works for you and your students. They are in English and in French, and they can be used in September or throughout the year. And so it's also a great thing if you have a combined grade and you're not sure where to start. These are some great things to start off with. They range from like books and read alouds with questions. There is lots of Indigenous content. There are, I know my favorite, I didn't even know this book existed, The Walking Curriculum.
It's the best.
Yeah, which has like guided walks, either outside or inside in your school, to talk about and look for certain things, look for certain people. They're really great if you can get outside or inside in your school. There's some fantastic activities to build like a classroom treaty or agreement. This is a great one to interview a member of your school community, so a caretaker or a secretary or another teacher. There's some great steps we have purchased and she'll be delivered to you by the end of the month, visual journals for K to 3. And so some great visual journals sort of getting started, and some sketchnoting getting started. This is a great one that if you haven't already ordered, we talked about this in our presentations for grade 1, 2, and 3. It's an activity voting on a class name, but Elections Canada has a great resource that you can order that brings voting down, like right down to kindergarten grade 1.
It was piloted by teachers, so it's legit from kindergarten to grade 3 teachers piloted, and they love it. It's a free resource, comes with a cool ballot box, French and English. It's super awesome, and you can keep that democracy alive in your classroom all year by creating your own little voting scenarios. It's super fun.
Yeah, definitely. And there are some things like debates, getting into thinking like a social scientist. So like there's a little bit of a definition of what different social scientists do, and then some activities where you look at images or places or wherever based on what that social scientist is, how they would see it, what questions they'd ask. And there's some answers and some ideas there. So just to get you started or to go back throughout the year, they're similar to, and last year you might have received from Jen the
Social Studies Sparks.
Social Studies Sparks, very similar to that you can get throughout the years, just to give you some extra ideas. One thing I just want to mention is We're not going to spend as much time going through the curriculum and everything that we did in our presentations for grades 1, 2, and 3, because we want to give everyone time to focus on combined grades. If you do need more information than our quick overview of the curriculum, I really recommend they're posted in the long range plans. The videos are linked in the long range plans. They're on NCIS and they're on our YouTube channel. So definitely go back and have a look at one of those videos if you need a more like a deeper dive into the curriculum. What we did and how we did it is we made what we're calling smash ups with SS and then mashup for social studies mashup. And so when we decided to really focus on combined grades, Edmonton Catholic Resources hadn't done it. Edmonton Public hadn't really looked at it yet. We couldn't really find anything.
No one has touched it. We tried to convince people to touch it for us, and then we just decided to hack them ourselves.
Because we have both taught combined grades and we know the challenges that you're facing. You're facing teaching two new curriculums in social studies, perhaps, and also math and science and social and everything else. And so we thought one of the best things we could do is come up with an actual plan and actual lessons and an actual vision for you. And so we based it on concepts. So we based it on, and you'll find when you look at our resources, we didn't follow the grade 2 and the grade 3 exactly for the 3-2. We've kind of mixed things up a little bit because we focus more on looking for connections between. So for example, this is the scope and sequence part of it anyway that we made for grades 3 and 2. So a grade 3-2 split. These are linked, so you don't need to worry about this, but they are linked. We have the entire year done. And so if you notice, it says the month, like this is September and this is September. But if you notice down here, it actually comes from January in grade 3. And this one actually comes from February in grade 2. We mixed up the months a little bit, mostly because we were looking for connections, like how to make your teaching easier and how to make it so that you don't have to reteach things. When we found connections and similar concepts, that's what we put together.
So if you were teaching a grade 3-2 combined and across the hall is a grade 3 teacher, note that like sometimes when you're teaching something in September, they won't be touching upon that in January. This is just what we did. You are more than welcome to take the scope and sequence. We actually really loved the Edmonton Catholic scope and sequence. And we cut it apart, put sticky notes, changed our minds numerous times. We've been back for a little while now, so we had some time to really go deep into it. But we just wanted to let you know that we kind of moved things around.
Yeah, and we did the same thing for 2-1. So we looked for some similar concepts. But even if you notice this, the grade 2s and a 3-2 are starting with more of the Indigenous perspective and getting into those outcomes, whereas the grade 2s and a 2-1 are looking more at just like citizenship and communication and roles and listening to people, just because it matched better with the grade 1 curriculum. And so that's how we did it. These scope and sequences are linked. We will also create long range plans. We haven't gotten there yet. So if you have clicked on the links and you look at the long range plans, you'll notice in the folder, there's only a scope and sequence for combined grades, but we will get there eventually, hopefully by next week with long range plans for you. If you haven't already, I just want to quickly go over how to get to New Learn Alberta. If you've downloaded the curriculum last year, or even if you piloted, they have made some changes. So they updated the curriculum in June, and then they did make some little tweaks over the summer. But if you haven't updated your curriculum, if you haven't reprinted or taken a look at it in June, then I would definitely go and look at it again. Sorry, our Wi-Fi is a little bit slow. You go to New Learn Alberta. They've actually migrated all the curriculums to the same website now. There's no need to go back to the old site. Here, I'm going to go to social. You can notice here the 4 to 6, since it's not mandatory to implement 4 to 6, the old program of studies is still there. And the new grades K to 6 social is also there. And the nice thing about this is you can actually print more than one grade level at a time. So if I wanted to go through and I want to print, they just changed all this for me. So I have to like learn. If I go to print and it actually goes through, so which components and then which courses, I'm going to just say I want like guiding questions and learning outcomes and the cusp. I'm going to get the whole thing. And then when it goes to which courses, if you're a 3-2 teacher and you want just 3-2, you can click and it actually prints with the 2 beside each other. And so that way it might be an easier thing for you to have both curriculums on the same paper. You would generate the PDF and then of course you could print that.
And we actually have done that for you too in our transition guide, which we'll show you in a moment, or when
Yeah.
we break out into rooms, we plan on giving you a little more specific guided tour. We have done that as well in our transition. We have 400 new teachers, so there might be some newbies that are in this session right now. Please make sure when you're on New Learn Alberta that you have logged in. Do you mind going back to just to show that on screen? The New Learn Alberta, just make sure you've logged in. If you need a little guidance with that, we have a little video as well. So just email one of us and we can send the information your way. And also, if you are a French teacher, make sure you have selected French. Just as new curriculum rolls out and so many things have been finalized, new resources are being developed and will be added. And as a teacher, if you're not logged in, you may not have access to all of those resources.
My Wi-Fi is not great today, so.
There's a lot of people doing presentations at Holy Redeemer. We just moved in, so it's a little bit chaotic right now.
Just a really quick recap, if you weren't in one of our other presentations or you're a brand new teacher, the new social use curriculum is organized. They put out, and it's going to be field tested this year, 7 to 9, and then high school later on. It's all organized under the same organizing ideas. So there's time and space and citizenship and why am I blanking on the last one? Systems, of course. And so those are the organizing ideas. And then we have our learning outcomes and then the cusps. And in social, the cusps are important, but underlying all the cusps are the competencies. And those are the things that really underline and kind of your why, probably, when you think of things like citizenship and collaboration and communication, especially for when you're looking at a combined grade. So really looking for those big ideas that you want to link the grades and between the subject areas as well. When we looked at the new curriculum, just because the new social curriculum has it's brand new, it's hard to sort of unpack. We looked at the understandings as the destination. That's really your focus. That's where you want to get to. And then the way you do that is the skills and procedures. That's where you're steering, you're driving your car, it's where you're going. Those are the activities you're doing, the lessons you're teaching, the things the kids are actually doing. And then the knowledge is the stuff you pick up along the way. So your suitcase, your souvenirs, and especially in social studies, you don't want to get bogged down by the knowledge. If you print the curriculum, you'll notice the knowledge is huge. It goes on sometimes for 2 or 3 pages, especially once you get into grade 2 and 3. And the understanding.
Especially in a combined grade, so if you have double knowledge.
Especially in a combined grade. And then the skills and procedures and understanding are usually just like on the first page. And so we don't want you to get bogged down in the knowledge. And what we kind of thought of it as, if you're traveling, you're on a trip, and if you go to Paris and you visit the Eiffel Tower and you buy the T-shirt, but you don't go up, you don't really look at it, you don't spend any time, you just buy all the souvenirs. Have you really traveled there? How do you really understand Paris? And so that's why we really want to caution everyone not to get bogged down with all the knowledge. And then, of course, we have our competencies across kind of in the background, your playlist, your mixtape, the things that really stick. The things that just get repeated over and over again.
Just like stays in your head.
Yeah. And then even more for combined grades than just a grade 2 or a grade 3 class, we know your classes are complex. So we know you've got, first off, 2 grade levels, but multiple like actual student levels and multiple challenges and needs in your class. And so you're going to take this the way you will. So you're going to deal with it and do what's best for your students and your class. One thing I just want to point out when reading the curriculum is that there are some words that are very important in the curriculum. The word including. Including means that that's mandatory to teach the examples they give you. So including, the first outcome there, this is from grade 2, maps and globes can represent the location of places and boundaries between places, including physical regions, major cities, provinces, and territories. That means you must teach about all 3 of those. If it says e.g., such as, for example, it just means that you can choose. You can pick and choose. So Canada has distinct physical regions, for example, Canadian Shield, Great Lakes, prairies. You wouldn't have to teach about all of them. And in fact, in our planning, we limited it. So the Edmonton Catholic Resources actually chose 3 regions to teach about in grade 2. We limited it when we did our plans to 2. We need to have a 3-2, just to make sure that you have the time and to cut some things out and to make it easier for you to manage. It is important to pay attention, though, to the skills and procedures, because sometimes it dictates what you will have to teach in knowledge. So, for example, it says compare. If you have to compare things, then you have to teach at least 2 of them. So you couldn't just do the Great Lakes and compare it because you need something to compare it to. We do just want to remind everyone that all cusps are mandatory, but how much time you spend on each cusp is up to you. It's up to what your student needs. So some of them you'll spend much more time on, and some of them could be just sort of touched on, especially within a combined grade. The NCIS is a great place to go to for resources on, in particular, the new social studies curriculum. The links that are from other subject areas have been updated, and they have been migrating to EPD, but I just want to show you, if you've never been to NCIS, it's a great time to go. You can click right there if you want, or you can even, if you Googled or you went to your CSSD bookmarks, you should be able to get there as well. The way you navigate it is that you click on your grade level here or on the side panel. I'm going to click here, let's just say grade 3. I am going to go into the NCIS for grade 3. There is our new recording, the video that we did for the grade 3 intro to the social studies curriculum. There are the transition guides, and these are great documents that have links to basically everything you need for all the different subject areas. And then below that are these stickers here. So if you want the grade 3 curriculum, the planning tools and templates, or like long range plans and scope and sequence, resources, and then assessment ideas. So NCIS is a great stop to go before you go looking for things other places. They do have lots of things here. If I click on planning tools and templates, again, it's all subject areas. So I'm going to go to grade 3 long range plans. And if you were a grade 3 teacher or a grade 3-2 teacher, this is a great document. It's one big document. On the side here in a second, everything will pop up. It's just my Wi-Fi is very slow. I would probably like bookmark this or favorite it there, just so that you can have easy access to it. You'll notice they're all on the side here in French and English, and the combined grades. So these long range plans have everything you could possibly need. We'll talk about the resources in a second, but they have the links here to the scope and sequence, the placemats with the resources. It has everything. So this is a great place to look. It also has access to this document here, this like folder here called CCSD Grade 3 Curriculum Crate Modification. We'll get into it a little bit more, but when Jen and I made the resources for, I'm just going to pick with 3-2 just because it's what I have here. This, for example, is the scope and sequence for grade 3-2. Up here is the CSSD grade 3-2 curriculum crate modification folder. If I click on that, it opens up to a drive that you have access to. And we had to, for a variety of reasons, modify a lot of the resources that we're using from Edmonton Catholic for a few reasons. One of them is we wanted to Calgaryify them. A lot of the examples are more Edmonton specific. And so we put images and ideas and things from Calgary where it fits. We also had to look at some of the resources available, if we had them or not. And then some things we just decided to do slightly differently. And then, of course, because of the combined grades. So this is our grade 3-2 monthly smash up. Sorry, it's just the Wi-Fi here is terrible, but if you're going along with me, you probably have this open and you can see in here. And I'm just going to, for example, cut ahead to some of the things that you would find. You'll go more into detail when we break up what this looks like. But to go along with our scope and sequence, we've actually made a slide deck for you that teaches the lesson. So Edmonton Catholic has some really detailed lesson plans. We haven't gotten quite that far yet, so you might have to do a little bit of shopping around for detailed lessons if you need them. But we have created here, we have the organizing idea, we have our learning outcomes for grade 2 and grade 3, and then we have our first lesson. And then each of the different, so 3-2 and 2-1, go into the learning intentions and success criteria. It has links to videos, it has the lessons and things like that you'll be needing. And then if I go that down here in the speaker notes, where appropriate, we have like linked either like if you need to print a page, like here, for example, or instructions, they are usually in the speaker notes if they're not on the slide itself. And so we're working hard to update all of this. And then we've combined the grade 3 and the grade 2. Our vision for both grade 3-2 and 2-1 is, for the most part, you would work together as a class. So we know the challenges of trying to, you know, balance the threes are doing something and the twos are doing something. So our plan is to have you teach the threes and twos the same material and the twos and ones the same material, and then just be a little bit wary of the assessment. So making sure that you're assessing the outcomes for the grade level and things like that.
Rebecca, there's just been a question. If you go into our long range plan, we've been Calgaryifying every grade, but really focusing our biggest shift has really been the combined grades, which we've just totally smashed and hacked apart.
Yeah.
If you go back to the long range plan document.
Yeah.
Okay, so every grade, so you'll note the grade 3-2, eventually it's going to look like an actual long range plan similar to grade 3. We just haven't got there yet. But if you go back to the grade 3-2 one on the side, yeah. Sorry, no internet. There's so many people doing presentations, so our internet's wonky. 3-2 there. At the top, we have created a little curriculum crate modification folder. And as we create and build things, we will add to it. Eventually, we're going to have like a September folder, October. So it's kind of like your hub of everything. And then you might take some of our stuff and smash it up. Our thought was that maybe you will continue to modify and change things, or maybe you have something that you've already done, especially 2-1 teachers. There might be some things that you've already done and you might add some of your own.
Yeah,
so that's where all those things live. I hope that makes sense. Please unmute or throw it in the chat if that doesn't. But we feel like the long range plan is kind of your go-to. If there's so much information being thrown at you, if you just bookmark that long range plan, it might be your best bet, because every month it's a living document. We're going to add more things to it, including more assessments. So our next step is really to look at the assessments in the combined grades. But we have those September startup packs. We're going to have some resource boards linked for you. We have lots of stuff ready to go. Our combined grade focus will be over the next couple of weeks to really finalize all of these documents.
Yeah, you do have to be patient with us because the curriculum was only finalized in June and there were changes made in June. And so people had to, we only had access to the resources literally in the end of August. So we've been like kind of in a mad dash here this week and last week, trying to like make a plan and create resources and smash things up. And so if you, we're only going to do basically 1 month at a time. We'll have the next one. So for example, we'll have the October one by kind of mid to late September and be ready to go. But you do have to be patient with us just because we're literally 1 step ahead of you.
So once again, if you go into, maybe we'll name this with smash up so people will remember, that would be a good idea. So once again, if you go into the long range plan of your grade, maybe we'll do a 2-1 this time, just because we did showcase 3-2. So just go on to the long range plan. I've linked it in the chat. It's at the top. And then you'll see, we called it CSSD Curriculum Crate Modifications because we've taken their curriculum crates. So Edmonton Catholic has created curriculum crates. They got a grant from the Alberta government last year with piloting teachers to create these curriculum crates, which are really like a detailed lesson plan unit plan. And we just took them and smashed them up and modified some things that we thought could be altered to better meet your needs. And they are all internet work. They're all in that folder. And as we create things, we just thought for simplicity purposes, we would just keep this folder going. And so that's where they are. I hope that makes sense. If you can't find them, you can email us, but really, you should be able just to find them in that modification folder.
Maybe we'll get it right from my Google Drive. Yeah, but like Jen said, the long range plan has all the links. That's probably the easiest place to go off of.
We'll just keep going back to that long range plan, and we'll have multiple access points. We've actually also linked them. I think I put it in the chat as well. This transition guide also has, I'm a big fan of this transition guide. It was done in all the other grades. I've also linked, today we also linked the transition guides, the curriculum crate updates to this transition guide. So this is an older screenshot, but if you click on this, I just put it in there. It has the CSSD modifications as well. So multiple places to find things. I always say if you can't find anything in about 3 to 5 minutes, if you're on EPD or you're on NCIS, feel free to email us. Our emails at the bottom. Yeah. That goes for all subjects.
Yeah. But definitely check out the long range plans first because pretty much everything is linked there.
Yes.
Okay, we just talked about our long range plans and our scope and sequences. Right now, all we have is scope and sequences for the combined, but by next week or the week after, we hope to have the long range plans for 2-1 and 3-2. We do have a plan for 4-3s. Jen and I actually really looked at,
Do you want to talk a little? Should we talk a little bit about this placemat? Because it might be nice to.
yeah, let's do 4-3 just really quickly first. Our plan for 4-3 is we actually analyzed the curriculum. We actually looked at the old 4 and the new 3, and the new 3 covers about 85% of the old 4. So our plan for you this year, at least, it'll be different next year, but this year is to teach the new 3 and the old 4 and teach them together, teach the same, just teach the new 3. And then in our long range plan for the grade 4s, we actually put in for a 4-3 plan, we actually have some enrichment projects and some activities and whatnot that cover, for example, paleontology is not covered in the new grade 3. So we have little projects throughout that would meet those grade 4 outcomes from the old curriculum.
Rebecca, before you go on, we do have 400, Calgary Catholic hired 400 new teachers. It just blows my mind for some reason. So can you exit out of the presentation? To get to NCIS, I put it in there. I just bookmark it and keep it at the top of my bookmarks. But if you are signed in correctly, so Rebecca is signed in, she has the CSSD bookmarks on the top left. If you don't have those, that means you are not signed in. You might be signed into another Google account, like a school, a work or a home account. There you can go into EPD. So if you scroll down, there's EPD. There's lots of other cool things in that bookmarks too, like Tumble Books and getting onto the CPL. There's so many great resources. This one, Combined Grades, is here. So just scroll up a tiny bit. They're all alphabetical. This one is a great hub. We are going to showcase that a little bit when we get into breakout rooms. A lot of people don't know that exists. And then there's also that new curriculum just straight across, actually. There you go. I think it's meant to be. It's serendipitous. Combined Grades and new curriculum is right across. And then that NCIS site lives there. It's kind of annoying to go that many steps. So I literally just have it starred at the top of my bookmarks and I go to it often. And that is how you get to NCIS. I know that is new for many teachers as well. We are doing some beginner teacher sessions, so please come to those as well.
Definitely. And then again, if there's teachers in your school who are brand new or teachers in your school who are new from a leave, coming back from a leave, or just even teachers in your school who don't know how to get there, please share that with them as well, because both EPD and CIS have so many resources. Our district does offer and pay for a number of resources, and they're there and they're free to use. So we definitely want people to be taking advantage of that.
Yeah. So NCIS is kind of our hub as new curriculum rolls out. We're really focusing on updating that for social studies. There's so many other great resources with science, math, ELAL. They've also so all of that stuff has stayed on NCIS, but now they're transitioning to putting new stuff on EPD. So we're kind of living in two worlds. So new curriculum is really NCIS, and then EPD, as new curriculum becomes a little bit older, will migrate to EPD.
Just getting into the placemat in particular in the curriculum grade. So the placemat Edmonton Catholic created for every month, some are 2 months at a time, like September, October. They created this document, they call it a placemat. And on this has the learner outcomes that you are teaching that month. It has vocabulary, language considerations. It has the read alouds and everything linked there. The links are also within the slide decks and the curriculum crate, but they are there as well. It has links here specifically. I'll show you how to go into the crates, the cross-curricular opportunities, and then the competencies and evidence of practice. So the placemats do have kind of links to everything that you would need. The only issue would be, of course, that we haven't created this for combined. We just haven't had the time or we haven't been able to. And so you might have to pick and choose. We did put in the scope and sequence that if we're pulling from grade 3 November and grade 2 May, we did list that. So if you wanted to get more information and follow the lesson plans, but the curriculum crates, I'm just going to go here. This is a grade 3 one. Let's say, for example, it's September. In grade 3, I'm going to click that. This opens this up. And then in here, the crates I'm going to click on a crate and you'll see how detailed these lesson plans are. If you were a brand new teacher or you're brand new teaching social studies or you're not confident teaching social studies, this has like literally word for word if you could teach, wanted to teach. It has your I am statements, your I can statements. It has so much information. And again, it has the links and the books and everything that you might need. But it also has the link to that slide deck. And that's what Jen and I hacked. We took their slide deck and we smashed them together and we made a 3-2 slide deck so that you could use that for your lesson as well. My sort of goal, I guess, when making the slide decks for 3-2 and for 2-1 is to put enough information on the slides and in the speaker notes that if you just follow this, you should hopefully most teachers be able to follow along and guide your students. And then there are like links, there's some ideas. If, for example, down here, the very last one, there's some culminating projects. If there's a big resource there that you could do as a culminating project, it then has like a link to more information. And so my idea in creating these, and I hope that you can help me out as you go, if you're using it, give me some feedback, is that you wouldn't necessarily have to be reading along with the lesson plan unless you wanted the guidance to make it more clear for yourself. Yeah. But I think for most experienced teachers, probably the slide deck, I'm hoping, is going to be enough information for you.
If you want to print off any of those curriculum crate lesson plans, go for it. Some of the resources we don't have. For example, there's Under the Sun. It's an Indigenous resource. We don't have that purchased. So sometimes you have to modify, but just know that it could be a good overview, but hopefully the slide deck is enough for you.
And then for some of them, I actually gave this for the grade 3s as well, just the straight grade 3s, is some of the resources that they had. I think the grade 3s, one of the hardest concepts for them to teach was treaties. And so Jen and I actually went through and we really adapted a lot of the treaty information to make it more age appropriate. So we hope that, and again, all these things we want your feedback on. How it worked with the combined class, how it worked with your grade 3s, so that we can support you better as we go. Is there any more questions about that?
Megan, I might get you, we're gonna hang out with the 4-3s right at the end before when we put everyone in breakout rooms. So maybe I'll answer your question right there. I will find, once again, all the smash ups, all the CSSD modifications are in the long range plans. I will find a link there again to share those, but that's where they are. We're trying to be mindful of a hub of keeping resources somewhat together. We'll also put all the smash ups on NCIS under resources as well.
Yeah, I lost my presentation and all those links. So I'm just going to get us back to where we were, looking at all the resources that are available and the placemats and then the curriculum crates. And then, like we said, we threw them in the blender and we matched them up so that we could hopefully create a much easier document, something more straightforward for you to teach combined as a grade 2-1 teacher or a grade 3-2 teacher. And then, like I said, our plan for grade 4-3 is to teach just the 3 and then supplement for your 4s.
Yes, exactly. And we were very mindful of thinking it as one class. All your students are learning the same concepts. It's not like grade 2s are learning something in grade 1s, but thinking about how you will assess differently. So that was kind of our goal, was not to make you be teaching 2 social studies, but 1 grade, which we think is great pedagogy.
Definitely. Some places to go just before we break up is all these videos that we make, as well as the co-taughts that we'll be doing throughout the year, as well as all the PG and the different videos from every subject area are on YouTube. So the Elementary CSSD YouTube channel, and this is a link to the social studies playlist, has so many great videos, so many great co-taughts. And a co-taught is a lesson you would teach with your students. So we're thinking, say, Thursdays at 1, you would sign up, you would get the link, and then together we would learn together. So all those ones are always listed here on YouTube. There are just some links in here too to get more supplementary resources if you want it. In no way are you, is it required, but if you do want to supplement what you're teaching to get more, usually combined grades have way too much and don't need any extras, but if there are, the ATA library has some great videos and resources, especially for teacher education. So for like your background knowledge, it's great. And then the APLC is the Alberta Professional Learning Consortium, and they actually put on a summer symposium. So this is funded, it's funded by the Alberta government, and they really did a deep dive into social studies in particular. And they had a summer symposium, and they have posted the video links. So if you had some time and you want to listen to their video links, they are fantastic.
You can even listen. Yes, they are slideshows and they show you information, but often I just listen to the APLC resources, which are amazing, just almost like a podcast just driving home. So just know that you can do that. There is a question about 4-5. If you are a Div 2 teacher, we can maybe stick around too for a couple of minutes after, but really our focus is on mandatory implementation, which is K-3, and we simply don't have the capacity to support grade 4 to 6. Edmonton Catholic, which has been a huge creator of all these resources, is actually not allowing their teachers to implement unless they piloted the curriculum. So 4, 5, and 6 teachers are not implementing in Edmonton Catholic because the resources are still in development. If you are a combined grade teacher and you're teaching a grade 5-4 with 2 new curriculums, I would highly advise not doing that. We have some great combined grade resources that focus on the program of studies. Yes.
Yeah,
So
that would
maybe
definitely
we could have a conversation. I know there's some conversation chat. I wrote down your name, Vicky. I will circle back to you. I would highly recommend not piloting grade 5 or 4. Grade 6, potentially it is close to the old program of studies, but 5 or 4, I would highly recommend not implementing at this point.
One thing we just want to mention is to be reflective of Teachers Pay Teachers. If you're choosing to use any resources from there, a few things to think about, especially if you're purchasing whole bundles. So some of the different producers make like whole like grade 5 science or grade 5 social studies, to be to ask like who made this, when was it made, and who tested it. Was it updated? So again, the curriculum was updated in June. And there were significant, I know I piloted grade 6 last year in social, and we have a lot of teachers interested in implementing grade 6. And so I went on thinking like, oh, I have stuff I can share with them. And when I go through and look, it doesn't match anymore. They have taken some things out. And so I'd have to go through and really look at the curriculum and at my resources I used last year and made last year even, because there have been changes made. So just making sure if you do purchase anything from Teachers Pay Teachers, which we're definitely not recommending, is that you really do, you're the one responsible for making sure it aligns to the curriculum. Just because it says it does, doesn't mean it does. A lot of times it over teaches and it's very like kind of worksheet based. And I know in particular for math last year, a lot of teachers for the math PAT in grade 6 who use super simple sheets in particular had considerably lower results than teachers who use like Mathology and other resources. Just because it wasn't properly aligned to the curriculum and students really struggled. Other things to be wary of is, especially a lot of TPT stuff is booklets. Like it's like printing a booklet. I know like for combined grades, sometimes you have to fall back on those resources. It's all you can do. Sometimes it is kind of keeping kids busy, but really thinking if their kids are getting a booklet in social and a booklet in science and a booklet in ELA, and a booklet in math, and they all look the same and they all have the same graphics and the same fonts and the same clip art, just adding some joy and some variety. So that's where our sort of pedagogy model is coming from, of teaching your class. You're doing the teaching, you're doing the leading, you're telling the stories. And then instead of just students working independently on a booklet.
Exactly. And that was kind of our whole goal. Often teachers are taught in combined grades. We've had this messaging to find the big concepts and ideas. We always think about like the why, but we really thought about the how, and the smash up is in how. So you don't have to have a grade 2 booklet while you're teaching your grade 1s and then swap really teaching your class together.
Yeah, absolutely. We just go over really quickly all the things that we have for social studies Div 1 this year. We will be doing like a little intro video. So every month or so when we introduce a new unit, we'll do a very short, less than 5-minute sort of video to introduce the new slide deck, the new concepts. We're hoping to do a number of co-talks. And that might be just Jen and I. We're going to do some to do with the election coming up and different holidays and events throughout the year. It could be us, it could be a guest speaker, and a co-talk would be all of us learning together. So you'd sign up, you get the link, and then we would all learn together. Your principal should be getting, I believe next week, a link to nominate or to assign a person to be our grade level rep for grade 3, grade 2, and grade 1. And the combined grade people are welcome to, like if you're a grade 3 too, you could still be the grade 3 person, it's fine. To come, and we have some in-person PG coming up starting in October, just to really dive more deeply and to make you the point person for your school. We will be doing ongoing PG in person and virtual. We hope that you find our combined grade stuff useful. We want your feedback. We're hoping we get funding to do maybe some PLCs or some groups, but I mean, we've spent a lot of time on this. We really want to support you. So things you need, please don't be shy. NCIS and EPD have so much great information there. The elementary symposiums are coming up. The first one is in October, and they are quadrant based, and it is in the evening. They are PG offered. It'll be for all different subject areas in each quadrant of the city on 4 different evenings, and then a place to come to learn and to maybe network with other teachers from your area and to really build your skills and to share what you know. And then, of course, the APLC is a great source. And again, these resources like the APLC and the Edmonton Curriculum Crates, Edmonton Catholic, these are funded by the Alberta government. So another thing to think of for the Teachers Pay Teachers, like you're paying your own money, let's use the resources our government has funded, and they have paid money to support and develop these resources. Other things just before we break up here, for the elementary core, I know Jen sent it out this morning. If you didn't get it and you want to get the elementary core, it's a newsletter. It comes out about once a month. The link there is the elementary core distribution list. Please sign up. The elementary social studies distribution list. So again, about once a month or so, we'll be sending email just about social studies information in particular. The Ellis Weekly is a great source that comes out on Thursdays. And it's not just for social or elementary, it's the entire district. It's often where you find PG. And so like the PG links will be there to sign up. And when we have funding for combined grades or we have different offerings of PG, it's often first come, first serve. So you definitely want to be checking that out on Thursdays. Jen here is the ATA Social Studies Council President for Calgary. Everyone gets to join an ATA council for free. And so she's a great president. She's got money to spend. She'll buy you drinks. She'll buy you books. It's definitely, if you're interested in social, if that's your thing, it's a great council to join. And then we do have an Instagram account at elementarycore_CSSD that we do post information, tips, tricks,
and celebrate you.
And celebrate, definitely. This is, if you've been in PG this week, you would have seen this. This is all the resources that Calgary Catholic has bought and paid for. And so these are the resources provided to you. I often either hear from teachers or see posted on Facebook that there's not resources. Where do you go? Our district doesn't provide anything. This is a great one-stop shop. So if you click the link, all this is linked. So it talks about ELAL, the different resources, math, you can click those things, everything you should have in your school or in your classroom. The social studies things, of course, is being updated as we get new things. And so even if you printed this, if you don't have this in your school and someone prints it and sticks it up in the fridge or in the bathroom so that people in elementary know the different resources we have available. Share it with new teachers, share it with old teachers, share it with people coming back from leaves. I know sometimes teachers coming back from mat leave, people assume they know what they're doing, but they've been gone for a year and a half, and things have changed.
It's literally millions of dollars worth of resources so the funding was provided by the Alberta government with new curriculum, and millions of dollars have been spent on resources. So it's a lot. So just make sure that you're using them. And also before you're throwing your own money, when there is some really great pedagogically sound that have been vetted by consultants.
Yep, and teachers. Exactly. Okay, we have some different Google Classrooms for you to join, to share ideas, to share with your colleagues. To post things, to look and see what's there. I think the link is there if you click the Google Classroom link.
We're going to, this is how we're going to do it. Since you've completed a Google form with your grade, I am going to, if you don't want to join, you're going to get an invite, just you don't have to accept it. I am going to put you as a teacher. So that means that you'll be able to upload files and really support each other. I had some Google Classroom combined grades going last year, so I will probably just use those and update a few things. Just a really great way to share things. Just be mindful, you are a teacher, so if you archive, Rebecca found this out, If
Yeah.
you archive it, you're archiving it for everyone, or if you delete something, you're deleting it for everyone. So just be mindful that it's kind of a collaborative community. Think of it as like a big organized Google folder, but it has been successful in the past with Google Class for the combined grade.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, again, if you have, maybe Jen will put these links to in the chat if you don't have the presentation open, is we're going to break into groups for 2-1 and 3-2. And then Jen's going to go into the 2-1 group and about give us like 4 or 5 minutes. And I'm going to go into the 3-2 group. Again, give me about 4 or 5 minutes. And then if we could get the 4-3s, and then we have links for the other grade levels as well. For
Yeah, we should see if we have anyone who wants to stick around. So I'm going to put the grade 3-2 and the 2-1 in the chat. It's actually on the next slide. It's in on the door. Those were some little things you could take on your journey. So if you go back to that little suitcase, this is when we go into the presentations. I'm going to take the 2-1 and Rebecca's going to do the 3-2. We have a few things that you could take on your journey in that little suitcase, including like the combined grade and some other documents. Is there any teachers, because this might be an opportunity to chat with a 6-5 teacher, we thought if there's any 6-5 teachers, could you just put your name in the chat? 4-3, you're going to stay here for a few minutes, and then we're going to set you guys up, and then we're going to head out to our other rooms. So just 4-3s. Okay, so we'll just stick. If you are, I think there was a 5-4. If you are a 5-4 teacher, you can put your name in the chat and see if there's anyone else. If not, okay, there is only one 5-4 teacher. So Vicki, you're on your own. I'm really sorry. Please reach out. You can look through some of those resources on the combined grade EPD. Okay, so grade 3-2s, you can click multiple ways. You can click on the door if you have the presentation open, or you can head to the chat. We're going to join you in about 3 minutes or so. You can start by exploring some of those resources, share maybe your grade. If you are a seasoned combined grade teacher, you might want to take the lead. There's going to be a lot of newbies as well. We are going to end it after, so feel free to chat for a bit and then we'll end as well. So 4-3, stick around. We have the 4-3s still. I think we do.
Is everybody still online with this one, hearing us? Are you guys all 4-3s? Is anyone not 4-3?
I am.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so I am just going to share my my screen again. Sorry, I got myself out of that. And we just want to really quickly, you do have resources that to look at.
I'm going to stop the recording too, actually.
Good. But I just want to go into the plans for you in particular. If you go to the